Good morning, traders. Welcome to the TMT Stock Market Strategy video for Monday, October 10th. Well, interesting developments on Friday and, of course, over the weekend. Friday, we had a weaker non-farm payroll numbers, and they ended up selling the market when bad news is usually good news, and good news is good news, if you will, for the markets, at least of late. For the last few years, everything has been going just straight up, and nobody really cares. Just keep buying the market, so to speak. Well, if we had a stronger job number, we would have probably sold off because the fact that the Fed now really is going to be raising rates. Well, if we had a weak number, we would have probably rallied, and that was going into that non-farm payroll number. Well, that was the opposite now. So finding correlations and finding what's moving the markets, what's reacting to markets is really incredibly important when you're dealing with trading, intraday trading, and of course when you're swing trading. So you really need to keep that in mind. So now we have things that are correlations that are kind of starting to change, and they don't go every day the same. They do kind of move back and forth and being correlated and then being not so correlated for the day. And on Friday, that's what we had. We had a weaker non-farm payroll numbers, and all of a sudden they decided to sell the market. So now we were down on Friday, and of course now we're up today. Obviously, the markets, they do not, meaning the government and whoever is involved does not want the markets to sell off more than 2 days. We haven't had a 3 day sell off in months, and I think that was just one day prior to another several months of not having 3 days down. So pre-election cycle is here. We're less than 4 weeks away, and obviously, if you guys are following Donald Trump, real nasty tape that they recorded on him saying some real bad things about women. And so the debate, obviously, Hillary Clinton has won that debate and more than likely will be the president of the United States. And I do believe that's all factored in already. But the markets nonetheless are up 950 in the pre-market. So very difficult, guys, to navigate through these waters when if you're long and or short even. I do believe that the markets will sell off either way between now and the election because I think the Hillary Clinton win is already factored in. And if Donald Trump does get in, for whatever reason, the markets will sell off pretty hard either way. And I do think that the Fed will raise rates in December. We have the 10-year up again today. And remember, guys, any bounce in like TLT is something that you might want to consider looking to get short. I do think that the rates have put in a generational low here. And I do think rates are gradually, not exploding higher, but will gradually go higher on a consistent basis. All right, let's take a look at the dollar. You can see the dollar here. And why is it important? Well, because commodity-based oil, gold, precious metals, grains, what have you, anything movement in you get a stronger dollar, you should get weaker equities. And right now that's not happening because the Saudis and Russia and everybody's talking up crude oil, where the Saudi minister said that crude oil, we would expect crude oil to go to 60. And by the end of 2016, I think that's a huge move. Not that it can't go, but nonetheless, we were down yesterday. Iraq and Iran canceled their meeting, so there's a lot of talk going back and forth, and all it is talk to prop the markets up. Exactly what the Fed's been doing with our markets here in the U.S. equity markets. Every time the markets go down a little bit, the Fed will come out and say, "Oh, we'll do whatever it takes to continue with QE." Same thing with Mario Draghi. He did the same thing last week. So obviously, you're fighting a negative tape. If you're trying to look to get short, or you're trying to get short, you're going to have a tough time. It is what it is until this market or some couple of funds or fund managers want to sell this market. Other than that, markets will continue to go sideways to up. It is what it is, guys, unfortunately. We do not have free markets here, at least at the moment. We'll see what happens closer to the election. But anyway, GDX, I'm looking for a better print down here at the 1920 to really get involved. To me, this is a nasty sell-off, and even though gold is up, I think 10 handles today, to me that's just a dead cat bounce. I want to see another big push lower and then base. Let it base and then start to move up again. That's GDX. GLD, same thing. I think GDX you could see at least into this zone area, 116 or 117, right here, a couple dollars lower. And if we do get that, that's something that we would probably entertain looking to get long GLD. Okay. Spiders, you could see here. Well, it was associated a nice bear flag. This is now a little bit too long in the tooth. As we have gone nowhere, I'm going to remove that and just make this as a sideways consolidation channel here. You can even make this a symmetrical triangle, and I wanted to show that to you guys right here. If I take that out, you could see that we could even just call it a symmetrical triangle, if you will, and that probably is a better shape and form that it took itself. And that's what happens. Sometimes price actually forms one pattern and goes into another. So here, to me, if you look at this area here, I would identify this more of a symmetrical triangle now. Since that bear flag has been removed, that's what we'll call it. Nice little nice little symmetrical triangle or pennant, if you will. But you see that the averages are moving lower. I'm still looking for a 210 print, guys. 210 in the spiders after this thing. Even if we fill the gap here, okay. And you know what? Let me put that. I do want to put this up here actually because that'll give us a target area. That'll fill the gap here at 218.60, and then we'll see if this market starts to roll back down again. Okay. Next is going to be the 60-minute. And you can see, guys, we have gone absolutely nowhere, gyrating up and down within a sideways consolidation. And then you can see here, if I put a horizontal trend line, and you can see exactly the same. That's all we have done. We have gone up, and then we've broken down to this consolidation, made a new consolidation on a 60-minute, and that's exactly what's happened here. Okay. IWM here doing the same. We could call this a pennant as well. You could see that here. Let me just quickly do this during this video. All right, so you could see that we have another pennant forming, and we're gonna have to wait. I mean, that's just what it is. If you can find something intraday, great. If not, price is gonna stay where it is. This is the IYT, and I showed you this before. We have an inverted head and shoulders up at the upper end of the move. I don't like this too much when it's up high like this, but nonetheless, it is a pattern. And now we need to, which we did, back test this area here, 143.80, and now we need to take this area out. If we start to move higher, then regardless of what market looks like, the markets would probably move higher as well. And then the same thing here with the Qs. You can see here, building energy was sideways pretty much for the excuse me, for the last 10 trading days. So let's see what happens this week. We are coming into a known time where volatility starts to explode. Keep an eye on the VIX and the VXX as well. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you.